Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining this morning. Just to Radha Madhav. Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunj Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunj Bihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Jayo Giravardhari Jai Gopijana Vallabha Jayo Giravardhari Yashodanandana Vrajjanaranjan Yashodanandana Vrajjanaranjan Yamuna Tiravanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Jayo Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Bol Om Gyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakya Chakshurmiltam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Staptam Yena Bhutle Swam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttapada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnucha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatham Nitam Tam Sajiyam Sadvetam Savdutam Krishna Setam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakamitam Scha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deen Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kant Radha Kant Namastute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavan Eshwari Rishabhanu Sutadevi Pran Mami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatu Behascha Kirpa Sindhu Bevacha Patitana Pavne Bhyo Vaishnavyo Namo 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 Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Śrīmad Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Parcharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasti Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Mukham Kroti Vachalam Pangum Langyate Grim Yat Kirpatam Vandashi Gurdi Taranam Paramananda Madhvam Shittaneshwaram Hariyam Tassat Narayan Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jamaduriyat Nasna Presha Abdureshu Nityam Bhagavata-Sevayā Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhakti Bhagavati Neshtaki. Wonderful. Okay, let's continue on chapter 8. We'll start with verse 6. And last time we were talking about the 5 types of personalities who need to be protected and which the Kauravas failed to do. They actually they were aggressors to each one, and they got reactions for that, and everyone who was associated with them, they got reactions as well. So let's share. Right, okay. Yajayit vash bimedayastam tribir uttam kalpakahi tad yasyaha pavanam dikshu shat manyor ivatanat. So Yajyitva, by performing Ashmedhi Yajna, in which a horse is sacrificed, Tam him King Yudhishthir, Tribihi, three Uttam best, Kalpakahi, supplied with proper ingredients and performed by able priests, that Yasha, fame, Pavanam, virtues, Dikshu, all direction, Shat Manaho, Indra, who performed 100 such sacrifices, Eva, like Atanat, spread. So Lord Sri Krishna caused 3 well-performed Ashwamedha Yajnas, horse sacrifice, to be conducted by Maharaj Yudhishthira, and thus caused his virtuous fame to be glorified in all directions, like that of Indra, who performed 100 such sacrifices. So this is something like the preface to the performances of Ashwamedha Yajna by Maharaj Yudhishthira. The comparison of Maharaj Yudhishthira to the King of Heaven is significant here. The King of Heaven is thousands and thousands of times greater than Maharaj Yudhishthira in opulence. Yet the fame of Maharaj Yudhishthira was not less. The reason is that Maharaj Yudhishthira was a pure devotee of the Lord, and by his grace only was King Yudhishthira on the level of the King of Heaven, even though he performed only 3 yajnas, whereas the King of Heaven performed hundreds. That is the prerogative of the devotee of the Lord. The Lord is equal to everyone, but a devotee of the Lord is more glorified because he is always in touch with all great. So it's natural, it's automatic. When you are connected to the all great, you also become all great. The sun rays are equally distributed, but still there are some places which are always dark. This is not due to the sun, but to the receptive power. Similarly, those who are 100% devoted to the Lord get the full-fledged mercy of the Lord, which is always equally distributed everywhere. Yeah, so talking about that example with the rust on metal, the magnet will attract it, or you'll be attracted to the magnet, but it's because of the rust. Nothing wrong with the magnet. Magnet is still magnet. It has the full attraction, but if the rust is in the way, then what can the magnet do? So we have to remove that rust and become pure. So this is 6. So it mentioned that everyone can get the full mercy of the Lord, right? Just like the Pandavas, they get full mercy of the Lord. It depends on your surrender. Ye yatha mam prapadante. 100% mercy means 100% surrender. Simple as that. Amantriya Pandu Putramscha Shainyo Dava Samyutaha Daipayan Nadabir Viprahi Pujitahi Prati Pujitaha. So Amantriya, inviting Pandu Putran, all the sons of Pandu, which are also Shainya, Satyaki, Uddhav, Samyutha, accompanied Daipayan Adibihi by the rishis like Vedvyas, Viparihi by the Brahmanas, Pujitahi being worshipped, Prati Pujateha, the Lord also reciprocated equally. So Lord Shri Krishna then prepared for his departure. He invited the sons of Pandu after having been worshipped by the Brahmins, headed by Srila Vyasadeva. The Lord also reciprocated greetings. So you can see we're heading towards the Kunti Mata's prayers. The Lord is getting ready to go back to Dwarka. Apparently, Lord Shri Krishna was a Kshatriya and was not worshipped by the Brahmins. But the Brahmins present there, headed by Srila Vyasadeva, all knew him to be the personality of Godhead, and therefore they worshipped him. The Lord reciprocated the greeting just to honor the social order that a Kshatriya is obedient to the orders of the Brahmanas. Although Lord Shri Krishna was always offered the respects due to the Supreme Supreme Lord, from all responsible quarters. The Lord never deviated from the customary usages between the four orders of society. The Lord purposely observed all the social customs so that others would follow him in the future. So the Lord made these four orders, this Varnashrama dharmas. So why would he break them? He wants to teach other people these four systems, orders of society. So he has to show by example that this is how it's supposed to be. So Krishna himself follows the code of conduct. So we must also follow, because he obviously doing it to show us. He offers respects to his spiritual master, and we must show respect to our spiritual master. And how do you show respect to your spiritual master? By following his instructions. Simple as that. Kantum kritamatir brahman dvarkam ratham ashitaha upellabe bhidha bhavantim utram by vipvalam. Kantum, just desiring to start, kritamati, having decided, Brahman, O Brahman, Dvarkam, towards Dvarka, Ratham, on the chariot, Asitaha, seated, Upalebehe, so Abhidhavatim, coming hurriedly, Utram, Utra, Behe, Balam, being afraid. As soon as he seated himself on the chariot to start from Dvarka, he saw Utra hurry toward him in fear. As Arjun's daughter-in-law, Abhimanya's wife, all the members of the family of the Pandavas were completely dependent on the protection of the Lord, and therefore the Lord protected all of them in all circumstances. The Lord protects everyone, but one who depends completely upon him is especially looked after by the Lord. The father is more attentive to the little son who is exclusively dependent on the father. So we should be like Krishna, little children. So Uttara is coming towards him. So if you partly surrender, he partly protects. Lord protects everyone, but he was completely under his protection, that he completely protects the father like to a small child. So as we discussed. Uttravachya pahi pahi mahayogin deva deva jagatpate nanyam pad abhyam pashye yatra mrityu parasparam. So Uttravachya said, Pahi pahi, protect, protect Mahayogin, the greatest mystic, Deva Deva, the worshipper of the worshipped, Jagatpate, O Lord of the universe, none not anyam, anyone else, Tvat, than you, Abhyam, fearlessness, Pashye, do I see, Yatra, where there is Mrityu, death, Parasparam, in the world of duality. Uttara said, O Lord of lords, Lord of the universe, you are the greatest of mystics, please protect me, for there is no one else who can save me from the clutches of death in this world of duality. This material world is the world of duality in contrast with the oneness of the absolute realm. The world of duality is composed of matter and spirit, whereas the absolute world is complete spirit without any tinge of the material qualities. In the dual world, everyone is falsely trying to become the master of the world, whereas in the absolute world, the Lord is the absolute Lord and is understood. Nobody is envious or trying to compete with him. And all others are his absolute servitors. In the world of duality, everyone is envious of all others. This is the problem. And death is inevitable due to the dual existence of matter and spirit. So the matter has to die. That's the law. Where there is matter and spirit, the matter must die. Matter comes with an expiry date, as birth and death. Whereas in spiritual world, everything is spirit. There is no birth, there is no death. The Lord is the only shelter of fearlessness for the stranded soul. One cannot save himself from the cruel hands of death in the material world, without having surrendered himself at the lotus feet of the Lord. So it said that instead of the Pandavas, Uttara runs to Krishna. And the Pandavas are happy for her to do that because everyone goes to Krishna for help. So they're happy that the younger generation is also following in their footsteps. They know who the protector is and they accept the protector. So it's also nice. Abhidravati mam isha sharas tapta yaso vibo kamam dahetu mam natha mame garbo nipatyatam. Abhidravati, coming towards Mame Isha, O Lord, Sharha, the arrow, the fury, Ayasa, iron. Vibho, great one, Kamam, desire, Dahatu, let it burn. Me, Natha, O protector, Ma, not my Garbha, Ambro, Nipat, Yatam, be aborted. So, I think problems still going on. O my Lord, you are all powerful. A fiery iron arrow is coming towards me fast. My Lord, let it burn me personally, but if so desire, but please do not let it burn and abort my embryo. Please do me this favor, my Lord. So this incident took place after the death of Abhimanyu, the husband of Uttara, Abhimanyu's widow. Uttara should have followed the path of her husband, but because she was pregnant, Maharaj Parikshit, a great devotee of the Lord, was lying in embryo. She was responsible for his protection. The mother of a child has great responsibility in giving all protection to the child. And therefore, Uttara was not ashamed to express this frankly before Lord Krishna. Uttara was the daughter of a great king, the wife of a great hero, and student of a great devotee. And later, she was the mother of a good king also. She was fortunate in every respect. So it's mentioned that she was blessed in so many ways, as written in the purport. She was also blessed to have the association of Lord Krishna, and she knew the position of the Lord, and also that he would protect her. So anyway, what's about to happen? We'll read on. Sutavacha upadrya vachas tasya bhagwan bhagavatsala apandavam idam kratum dronar astram abudayata. So Sutta Goswami said, updharya, by hearing patiently, vacha words, tasyaha, her, Bhagwan, the person of Godhead, Bhakt-Vatsala, he who is very much affectionate towards his devotees, apandavam, without the existence of the Pandavas, descendants, idam, this kartum, to do it, Drona, of the son of Dronacharya, astram, weapon, abudayata, understood. Sutta Goswami said, having patiently heard her words, Lord Sri Krishna, who is always very affectionate to his devotees, could at once understand that Ashvatthama, the son of Dronacharya, had thrown the Brahmastra to finish the last life in the Pandava family. So he still had no regrets. He's such a nonsense person. Seriously. The Lord is impartial in every respect, but still he is inclined towards his devotees because there is a great necessity of this for everyone's well-being. The Pandava family was a family of devotees, and therefore the Lord wanted them to rule the world. That was the reason he vanquished the rule of the company of Duryodhana and established the rule of Maharaj Yudhishthira. Therefore, he also wanted to protect Maharaj Parikshit, who was lying in embryo. He did not like the idea that the world should be without the Pandavas, the ideal family of devotees. Yeah, so there was a future king ready to be born soon, and Ashwatthama, he just wanted to get rid of the whole lineage. So Ashwatthama, you can see that still hadn't learned his lesson. So Prabhupada said that some have to be given a lesson again and again, unfortunately. So there are 3 classes of intelligence. First class is that your parents tell you don't steal, and you learn, yes, you don't steal. So by hearing, somebody tells you, give you good advice in good faith, and they are in a position to advise you, you still don't listen. So that's the first class, if you do listen. Second class, still steal, and they are imprisoned and they learn the lesson. Yes, I should have listened, and now I'm in prison. I shouldn't have done this. I won't do again. Most most people fit into this category. It's understood. They learn through experience. Third class get punished. They still do again and again and get punished again and again. And this was Ashwatthama. Never learned their lesson. Even getting punished so severely, he still didn't learn his lesson. So the more devotees there are, the better, because there will be less demonic mentalities like Ashwatthama, and more devotee mentalities. More devotees we can devote. We can. These are will be done. Okay, so we can have more devotees, villages of devotees, cities of devotees, and these will be run as Srila Prabhupada recommended, and all will be given protection by the Lord. So yeah, we need to get into that demoniac mentality in people, convert them into devotees, have the devotee attitude, and have a protection in Krishna, and not try to take matters into our own hand, which are detrimental and in the long run detrimental to ourselves and others, our families. Have protection of the Lord. He's on a suicide mission, Ashwatthama. He doesn't really has lost all sense of responsibility to anyone, to his lineage, his father, his mother. He's a Brahmin, to his caste, everything. He's totally lost. His mother says he's lost it totally, and which is a shame. So in text 12, Tarhi evat muni shrestha Pandava panch sayakan atmano bimu khan diptan alakshya trani upadadahu. O foremost among the great thinkers, Munis and Shonak, Rishi, seeing the glaring Brahmastra proceeding towards them, the Pandavas took up their 5 respective weapons. So the Brahmastras are finer than the nuclear weapons. Ashwatthama discharged the Brahmastra's ability to kill the Pandavas, namely the 5 brothers headed by Maharaj Yudhishthira and their only grandson, who was lying within the womb of Uttara. Therefore, the Brahmastra, more effective and finer than the atomic weapons, was not as blind as the atomic bombs. So, the reason given, when the atomic bombs are discharged, they do not discriminate between the target and others. Mainly the atomic bomb do harm to the innocent because there is no control. The Brahmastra is not like that. It marks out the target and proceeds accordingly without harming, used normally without harming the innocent. So there was no time for Arjuna to counteract the Brahmastra this time. The Brahmastra only harms the target. It seems Mahabharata war is still continuing. Ashwatthama has not finished. The war is over, but his revenge attacks, or as far as he is concerned, is fight till death. Kill and be killed. That seems like his motto. Now again, he has broken his promise and lifted the Sudarshan Chakra. Now, so we talk about Krishna now. Now Krishna decided to intervene in this matter, because he said he will not participate in the warfare in the Mahabharata, but it seems like the war is still continuing. But now Krishna thinks enough is enough. He's going to break his promise and intervene in that war. Krishna never breaks the promise of his devotees. So if a devotee makes a promise to us, say like Srila Prabhupada, he makes a promise to us, Krishna will make sure that promise is fulfilled. But Krishna, when he makes a promise, he might break it. If he has to break it for a high purpose, he will break it. He doesn't care, whether he's run short or whatever, he's a cheater, or you want to call him a liar, or one who doesn't keep his promises. He will do it. He doesn't care for his reputation. He cares more for his devotees' reputation and their protection. So he'll do anything. It's Bhakta Vatsalya. He will do anything for his devotees, as demonstrated here. So maybe we can just read one more. Let's see how we are now. A bit of time. Vyasanam vikshya tattesham ananya vishyatam sudarshanena swastrena swanam raksham vyadad vibhu. Okay. So Vyasanam, great danger. Vikshya, having observed that tesham, they ananya, no other, vishya, means Atmanam, thus inclined, Sudarshanena, by the wheel of Sri Krishna, Swa Asturena, by the weapon, Swanam, of his own devotees, Raksham, protection, Vedat, did it, Vibhu, the Almighty. The Almighty Person of Goddess, Sri Krishna, having observed that a great danger was befalling his unalloyed devotees, who were fully surrendered souls, at once took up his Sudarshan disc to protect them. The Brahmastra, the supreme weapon released by Ashwatthama, was something similar to the nuclear weapon, but with more radiation and heat. This Brahmastra is a product of a more subtle science, being the product of a finer sound, a mantra recorded in the Vedas. Another advantage of this weapon is that it is not blind like the nuclear weapons, because it can be directed only to the target and nothing else. Ashwatthama released the weapon just to finish all the male members of the Pandus family. Therefore, in one sense, it was more dangerous than the atomic bombs, because it could penetrate even the most protected place and would never miss the target. So there'll be no, they won't need any satellite confirmation of whether the target has been destroyed or not. It's guaranteed to destroy the target, and you can't even hide in a bunker or anything like that. It will get you wherever you are. This is subtle. Knowing all this, Lord Shri Krishna at once took up his personal weapon to protect his devotees, who did not know anyone other than Krishna. In the Bhagavad-Gita, the Lord has clearly promised that his devotees are never to be vanquished, and he behaves according to the quality or degree of the devotional service rendered by the devotees. So it's very important that our service is A1, 100%, because that's how Krishna doesn't, Krishna, he goes by our will, whatever will we have, whatever desire we have, how much desire we have, he will meet us to that. He's not going to go against our will. If we only want to serve him 50%, he will say, fine, I'm happy to accept the 50%, but this is what you're going to get in return as well, because that's what you want. It seems like, because I've told you that 50% means 50%. Yayathamam prapadante. So here you go. So it's up to you. You want to increase or decrease. I can work with you in any capacity you want. So here the word Ananya Vishatmanam is significant. The Pandavas were 100% dependent on the protection of the Lord, although they were all great warriors themselves. But the Lord neglects even the greatest warriors and also vanquishes them in no time. When the Lord saw that there was no time for the Pandavas to contract the Brahmastra of Ashwatthama, he took up his weapon even at the risk of breaking his own vow. Although the battle of Kurukshetra was almost finished, still according to his vow, he should not have taken up his own weapon. But The emergency was more important than the vow. So it is a mind-breaking. He's better known as Bhakta-Vatsala, or the lover of his devotee, and thus he preferred to continue as Bhakta-Vatsala than to be worldly moralist who never breaks his solemn vow. So Krishna is renounced. He is not attached to anything. He can change, he can adjust according to time, place, and circumstance. He's not like, oh, I can never tell a lie, and I can never break my vow. He'll do it as it required, but he doesn't do it for himself. He does it for his devotees. This is wonderful, Krishna, and this is what we're learning. This is the whole idea of following Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, reading Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, so we can learn. First, we learn that Krishna is a person. In the first verse, in the first chapter, we learn that Krishna is a person, and now we're also learning that what his habits are, or what his character is versus personality. That's what he has, a person, just like us. Krishna has a personality. He has way of doing things, and he has way of looking after people who are under his shelter, like we probably would be for our family. So he's the Supreme Father, and he looks after his children. So it's mentioned that Brahmastra can't be contracted by any of the Astra in the material world. That's why it's called the Brahma Astra. And because Brahma and his weapons are the head, therefore Krishna used his own weapons. So only Krishna could. Now it had come to a stage that only Krishna could intervene. Nothing else could be done. Wow, wonderful. So Krishna is now taking charge of this, because he's there when we do what we can up to our capacity, and when we cannot, or we don't have any control, then Krishna takes charge, because he's always in control. So thank you so much. I'm just going to stop sharing this, and I'd like to hear from yourselves. And Pundikaksh Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna devotee. Please accept my humble obeisances. These verses are again confirming that how much Lord protects his devotees, and especially those devotees who are completely dependent on him. And here, as you mentioned, Prabhuji, like not just the family members, but they pass down that information to their lineage as well, and everybody in the family dependent on Krishna fully. I like that analogy where Prabhupada says that sun rays fall on every place, but if the place do not cover itself, then what the rays can do? So Krishna is giving his mercy to everyone equally, but it depends on how much a living entity can take that mercy of the Lord. And in the first verse, Yudhishthira Maharaj was compared to Indra. Indra who did thousand sacrifices, 100 sacrifices, whereas Yudhishthira Maharaj was asked to do 3 sacrifices. But he is having Krishna on his side. The attention of Krishna is more important than anything. And this is what I felt like Duryodhana missed completely. When Duryodhana and Arjun went to Krishna, and he was given a chance to ask for Krishna or Narayan Sena, and he said, "I want Narayan Sena," because Krishna said, I'm not going to lift any weapon." So that's what he missed. He said, I want Narayan Sena. Why you need Krishna when he's not carrying any weapon? He's not going to take any weapon. That's the point he totally missed. And that's what Arjuna and Pandavas are known for. They are pure devotees of the Lord. They want only Krishna and nothing else. And every time Krishna protected them. And every time, like in the full battle, we can see how well they are protected by Krishna in every moment. Uh, and I mean, in this world, it's a dual nature, and we cannot understand what is good, what is right, what is wrong. Also, it's very difficult. Especially the mind is under control of the 3 modes of material nature, and Maya will force us to think wrong only. unless we become a devotee of the Lord, as we heard from Akrodha Prabhu yesterday as well. So only the way to come out of this material world is to completely surrender to the Lord. And that's what Pandavas are. They're completely surrendered to the Lord. And Brahmastra is really powerful compared to nuclear weapon here. But Brahmastra, you write a name on it, and then it just go to that particular destination, hit that. It is not going to harm anybody else. And in one way it is safe, but in another way, nobody can escape that Brahmastra once the name is written. And only Krishna can protect. Again, Krishna is showing how he protects his devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, wonderful. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Kiran Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, everybody. So powerful verses every morning. Just goes to show that if we imbibe this knowledge, how valuable it becomes to our lives. Metal covered with rust, sun covered by coverings or umbrellas, a mirror covered by dust will not penetrate the real magnetism, the magnetism of the power of divinity. And hence that rust has to be cleared up. The dust from the mirror that clutters the clear vision has to be cleared up. And also that umbrella has to be removed to let the sun's rays penetrate through. And hence, these are examples given of how devotion in its purest form can occur. Devotion occurs in this material world, but we're plagued by dualities of the material and spiritual world. And hence we have the concept of death. Death is only a phenomena of the material world. And therefore, it is for us to understand that to escape that temporariness, there should be an escape from this illusion. And that illusion is this material world. And the methods or the blueprint have been so clearly delineated in the Shastras, in the Vedas, in the Bhagavad-Gita, in the Bhagavatam, and in the Chaitanya Chamrita. It gives you a roadmap. It's a sat navigation system for escaping the Brahmastra. And clearly, during that war, you could see how sophisticated that war was, because it could identify a single individual or groups of people, because Ashwatthama was targeting the Pandavas. And hence you can see how the world is now waking up its eyes to the technology developed by Bharat, the Brahmastra, and all the 9 or 10 other weaponry systems or aviation, naval, and all the submarines systems which are being homegrown, made in Bharat. And topmost of which is called the Brahmastra. It changes direction, but it is not delivered through a mantra, but through the minds of the great scholars, the intellects who are part of ISRO, who are part of all that scientific endeavors from the Indian subcontinent. what is developed now has its roots in the Vedas, and hence the world is waking up to what is happening, because we just have to show an example of our abilities and maybe our intellectual might, and that's what's happening. And you can see that Krishna will break his vows, he'll break his values, he'll break his principles, because we often do that to protect some things. If a robber comes to your house, you're not going to show him the door, to show him the entrance to your where your money and your gold is kept. He will be dealt with in the most severest forms, and hence there are three types of men who learn that punishment, you either hear or you have a sentence which fits the crime, or those who become serial criminals time and time and time again. They become better criminals when they go in prison than when they went in the first place. And hence these were the Ashwathamas of the world. They never learn. And the Ashwathamas of this world exist in our society. And maybe there's an element of Ashwathamas in all of us. We never learn from our first mistake, second and third. And hence we continue to remain on this realm, as does Ashwatthama, as one of the Mahajans who still exists and roams around with the mark on his forehead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Yes, I think these examples are to wake us up, Jiva Jago, and teach us, and nicely said that we can introspect as well, that are we following these demoniac values as well in some ways, maybe in a subtler way, because divine and demoniac is within us, and we may not even realize which we are feeding most, the divine or the demoniac. But that's the power association as well, that we learn from each other what's the best way to follow. We can teach and follow each other.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Pranams to all of you. Yes, more verses in the new week, and more lessons daily to be learned and to be followed. Because when we hear about Lord's Kathas, most of the time we think that Lord is an umbrella. He's going to be always upon all of us. And when we are in our own, within our own minds, within our own little world, we start thinking that, yeah, we can get away, we can cheat. That's the inherent quality we all have been blessed with. And we think that, yes, these things only occur in the spiritual books, spiritual shastras, the shastras which we read, which we hear, and sometimes we speak about. And we think that we are, protected from everything, because we are living in a material world. We are material beings ourselves, and so easy to be, misled by our own thinking. How we have to be dependent on Lord is being highlighted here in these verses. How Uttara, she belonged to such a great lineage, and she had protection from all the stalwarts all around her, but still she ran towards Lord. So that distinguishes a devotee from a layman. So let us all aspire to be devotees, that whenever any problem comes upon us, our first shelter should be the Almighty. And yes, it's been told that how we have to, actually, our Acharyas have given us everything, haven't they? Like Bhaktivedanta Thakur, how he was dividing his day into 8 hours. 8 hours he's looking after his body, 8 hours he was looking after his professional side of life, and for 8 hours he was working for the spiritual upliftment for himself and for the society at large. And look, we are reaping those benefits still. He existed in this material world many years ago, and still we talk about him. So any material progress will be, forgotten after 100 years maybe. Nobody will remember how much you created, how much you're worth, and this and that. But these spiritual glories will be always there. And Ashwatthama, yeah, he is a very peculiar character. The more we read about him, the more we hear about him, the more you cringe in your heads that he didn't learn from his mistake. The God was there himself. We understand it's a Leela, but still, let us pray that we don't fall into that category ever in any of our lifetimes. And Brahmastras, nuclear weapons, yeah, these are all around us. We don't need any of them. We just need Lord's protection, and we need that undivided protection, undivided shelter from the Lord for all of us, that he protects our bhakti, he protects whatever little we have as bhakti for Lord, and he gives us more and more as the time goes by, as we become worthy of his blessings and his Vatsalya, Bhakta Vatsalya. He's Bhakta Vatsalya. His hands are full of Vatsalya for all of us. But we have to be worthy, and we have to get above our dualities. I think when I think of people these days, I think if Lord was standing with all the Vatsalya in his hands, and on the other hand, if there was Maya, most of the people these days will choose Maya, because they don't even know who Lord is, and that everything is coming from Lord. So yeah, please Lord, protect us from these short-sightedness of falling into the prey of Maya's hands, and keep us in your shelter always. Thank you for all nice realizations. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, amazing how Krishna is about to leave. Everything is done. War is over. He thinks, right, now I can leave. He's about to leave, and then the Pandavas and their family still need protection from these demoniac people. And it's mentioned that although they are great warriors themselves, but they still rely on the protection of the Lord. So that's a lesson for us, that we should never think we are bigger than God, because we will always need his protection. Because, well, for one, there's always somebody bigger than us, even in the human society. Never mind, God being the biggest of all. So there's always something that can disturb us, and we rely on Krishna for his mercy. And these things that are happening now, everything that's happened, and what is just happened now with Uttara and Krishna's response to that is a launching pad for Kunti Mata's prayers. It's like, if anybody was not convinced before, they will be convinced now. Krishna's glory, Krishna's protection, and Krishna's response, and it's inspiring, and it just makes those prayers even sweeter. So Krishna's Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is preparing us to hear Kunti Mata's prayers after getting inspired by how the Lord protects his devotees. So thank you all so much. Praveen Mata is listening only today, so we won't take we won't ask Mataji. And thank you all once again for your association, which is so important. And hearing Bhagavatam is so important. and not easy or important to hear Bhagavatam. Is very important to hear it regularly. That's what it's about. Consistently, regularly, same time, same place, and this is one of the Panchangas to hear Bhagavatam. Not just to hear it, but to hear it, in frequency, whether it's 3 times a week or 7 times a week or 5 times a week. It should be consistent. That's the one of the angas of our bhakti. So Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai,
Ki jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Go Prem Nande Hari Hari Bol. Thank you,
Hare
sir.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.